Hi guys, it's Sherry. So today we're actually going to be making a pendant. And I found this stone and I just thought it was really unique. And this one I really like the colors in. So I'm going to put these together. So the first thing that I did was I rolled out my black Primo clay to my third thickest setting. And I'm actually going to lay out my stones exactly how I want them. So I got to figure out how I want to lay my stones out before I could do anything. So I'm thinking something along those lines should look nice. So now I'm just going to kind of cut around and get a general idea of how I want to go about laying this all out before I can truly start everything. There we go. I'm going to put this over just a tad bit more. And I want to kind of keep my sides even. So I'm just going to kind of cut it until I like what I see. Okay, so that's a good start. So I'm going to pick this up and then I'm actually going to lay it right on my tile so I don't have to repeatedly lift it to make my design. And then I'm just going to place my stones back on here. And then I'm going to take my black clay again and I'm going to start filling in right in the middle. So I'm going to soften my clay and then I'm just going to kind of make a noodle so I can fit it in between those two stones nicely. And when I kind of push that right in there the best that I can, and then just kind of push that clay down. Nothing has to be perfect right now. As we go, we'll just clean everything up. Right now, my only concern is building up around my stones. Another nice thing about having your clay on your tile is when you have like one of these sticky, this is actually like that you would put in the oven. It's a clay mat and I can actually take this off real easy. So if I have to move it, I won't destroy my piece. Okay, so now you can see our piece is built up. So now we need to make sure everything is nice and smooth. And this clay is going to be smoothed out enough that it's going to become one solid piece. I want to try to make sure that I have almost my entire stone showing, but I also need to make sure that it is 100% secure. Okay, so now I'm just going to recut and put it back into the shape that I want exactly. I am actually going to get my circle cutter, and I'm just going to kind of edge it just so I know that I'm getting a nice even piece here. Okay, I'm very happy with that. So now my next step is I am actually going to put my little jump rings in right away. This way I don't have to mess with it once I start decorating it. So let me grab my jump rings. And I'm actually going to do this silver. And the reason I'm going to do silver is I really think it's going to pop with the browns. I know gold is usually the typical for browns, but I really think that silver will bring this piece out. So now I got to decide where exactly I want my jump rings. I'm thinking right on the side here, so I kind of just want to mark it. Kind of get it even. All right, now I'm just going to get my X-Acto knife and I'm just going to kind of slice it a little bit, just so I can get that jump ring in easily. I'm just going to push it right in there. And I'm just going to take a little piece of clay and I'm going to put it right inside that jump ring. And where I made that hole, I'm going to cover that hole back up. That way I know my jump ring cannot come out. So smooth it out. Okay, and do the other side. So now I'm actually going to get my white clay, and I normally wouldn't do this, but so you guys can see better with the detail, I'm going to go with the white against the black. I normally would just stay with black, but I'm finding that my videos when I do black on black are kind of hard to see all the detail. So I thought if I did white, you would see it much easier. So here I'm just making a small snake. And I'm just going to etch right around my stones. I'll go a little smaller, a little skinnier. I'm just going to place this right around. As I'm placing it around, I'm just kind of pressing it down lightly to help it stick to the black clay. And then you just take your knife and you just cut it right off there. So that gives me a nice edge. I'm going to do the same thing to my other stone. Okay. I'm going to start right at the point. And then slice right off. Okay. Now, I want to kind of make a little bit of designs. So I'm going to do some more snakes. These ones are going to be a little skinnier than the ones that I went around. Okay. Let me smooth this edge out. Okay. And since this one has such a wide area here compared to this, I want to make sure that this is designed really, really nice. So I'm thinking I could do a nice little swirl pattern. It kind of goes up into here. There we go. Let's go the opposite now. Let's see how that looks. And I want to bring this out a bit. Bring this in. I want to blend these together just a tad bit so they flow nicer. I like to start all my noodles off with a nice point. And then we'll bring this over here a bit. Oops. I'm just going to open this up a tad bit. To open it up, you're just slightly moving it over. want to put another bring that up. Okay, I'm going to take my tiny one here, and I'm going to loop it here, come up, and then go back down. There we go. I just want to make sure that this piece has a lot of design to it, because I think that's what's going to really bring this piece out and make it special. I'm going to go do the same thing here. And cut it off right there. So to get rid of that. Pop that out if I can. There we go. And just press it down slightly so you know that it's going to stay. Don't press too hard because you'll flatten everything out and it won't look as nice. So look how beautiful, just by putting those little bit of detail into that. And I want to put one little dot. One dot right in the middle. There we go. And I think another one right here on the edge would look nice. There we go. Beautiful. Okay, so now we're going to work on this little section here. Now I have to decide how I want to do this. I think I'm going to go right up on this side. I need to make that a little skinnier. I don't like how wide that noodle is. To get more of a swirl, it's nicer to have them skinnier. Bring this up a tad. I'm going to bring this out a little bit more. We're going to try this, see how this, cut that off, oops. So I want to bring this over, make more of a little loop. I want to make that a little pointy. Bring that all the way over. And we're going to go right to this side. I just want to kind of make this a little swirly, so it's kind of giving me a little trouble, but I'm getting it. There we go. I'm going to put this one in here. Make that. And we're going to okay, so I want to bring this one out, and I'm just going to kind of follow this groove here if I can. And just put the flat end right there. Go there. There we go. And I'm going to cut a little piece off and make another little circle, and I'm going to put it right in the middle there. Okay. And I'm going to bring this down. And bring that over. Okay. So I'm going to stop that right there. Oops. I'm just going to try to connect this right to my little swirl right there. And I'm just slightly patting it down. Okay, I'm going to make that just a tiny, tiny bit skinnier. So I'm going to make a little swirl here. Kind of go down, and I'm just patting as I make this swirl to make sure that it stays where I want it to stay. Because that's such a tight area right there. And I'm just going to cut it off right there. Going to push that out just a tad bit. Okay. So I'm very happy with that. I like that a lot so far. Now I want to do something with this bottom. So I'm going to start out with this area. And I kind of just go around to kind of connect that all together. So I think it'll look like it's complete then. I'm going to go down. I'm going to go, well, I want to make this a little skinnier. So I'm going to kind of connect this all together again. Okay. I'm going to make some more circles here. All right, so now we just have this side to decorate, and then our piece should be pretty well good to go. So I am actually just going to do a swirl here. I'm going to carefully put that in there and then cut that off. Now I want to kind of follow along with this swirl. And kind of connect it right next to the next one. I'm going to do another one inside here. And then carefully slice that. I'm slicing it on an angle. This way my pieces kind of fall together nicely. See, when you slice it on an angle, you can put those two pieces together and it flows as one, really nice. I'm going to do one more. Just going to carefully blend that right in there too. Oh, don't. And just slice that off. Okay, and lastly, I'm just going to add a couple of my little circles. And there you go, guys. Oh, actually, I'm going to add a little something at the top there, because that is a little plain. So let's add one noodle right there. Cut that off. There. Look how beautiful that is, guys. I am really pleased with that. I think that came out just gorgeous. So now I'm going to put this in my oven at 275 since I have the Primo clay. And I'm going to bake it for a full hour. And then when it's completely cooled off, we'll come back and we will paint it and get everything together to wear our new charm. Alright guys, so now my piece is out of the oven and I think it came out beautiful. I really like all the swirl detail, but I decided that I want to add something on the back. So I did a quick little sand down on some of the rough little areas, and I'm actually going to just get my white clay again, and I want to make some noodles. All right, so once I got my noodle stretched out, I am actually going to take a very thin layer of my liquid clay, and I'm just going to rub this over. So then I'm going to carefully take my needle and I'm going to start making a spiral. I'm going to cut that there. And you can make this any way that you personally like. I just thought little hearts and swirls would kind of look really cute. I want to make sure the back was just as special as the front. I'm very happy with that. All right. So now I'm going to place this in the oven for 20 minutes at 275. And when we're done, we will finish our piece. Our piece is out of the oven, completely cooled off, and the back looks gorgeous. There's no fingerprints on anything. The front is just as gorgeous, and now we get the chance to paint it and really bring this piece to life. So I'm actually going to be using Shine Silver, and then I'm going to use black to shade it. So I'm just going to go over this. I'm not going to worry about getting the stones full of paint because I can easily clean those up. I want to make sure I get into all the little cracks, little nooks and crannies, to make sure I get the paint and everything. All right, I'm going to let that dry. Our piece is completely dry. So now I'm going to add my black. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get my brush a little wet. And I'm going to add it to the black, just to kind of make it a little bit smoother. I'm going to start on the back of here. And I'm just going to go right into the edges here. Let's go all over. And then get your paper towel and just wipe it. You're not going to want to take it all off, just some of it, because we're just basically trying to shade our piece. I'm actually going to do the whole thing here. Oops. Go over my whole piece. I'm just going to get a thicker brush and kind of brush it over. I'm just kind of trying to blend this a little bit in the edges, on the edges here, because I don't want my black gone off the edge. I want it to stay there. Let's see if I could get a different brush here. Right here. I want my one that I can buff with. Yeah, this one works much better. Kind of clean this middle section up because I don't want a lot of black in that area. doing this with a brush is sometimes easier than trying to get your towel or paper towel into all these little areas. Pretty happy with that. And I am going to take a little bit of black, and I just want to kind of go with my edge a little bit more in here. So any little areas that I may have taken my highlight out or my shade in, I want to kind of add it back in if I can, very carefully, because I don't want too much, but I don't want it all gone either. And we're going to highlight that then, but now we're going to go on to the next side. Okay, now I'm going to do the same exact thing. First I'm going to start with my paper towel to get most of the paint off. I want to highlight all of my swirls. So I'm actually just going to use my finger. I'm going to get my silver paint, and I'm just going to go right over. I'm just going to paint just like that. And I go over this quite a few times till I really find what I like. So if you have to go over your piece multiple times and doing the same step over and over and over, that's okay. Keep doing it. That's the nice thing about paint. You can keep going over till you get it exactly the way you like it, and that's what you should do. You shouldn't settle for, okay, well, it's good enough. All right, I'm going to let that dry because I'm pretty happy with that. And then once it dries, I'll really be able to see what I have going on here. I'll see if I need to add more silver, more of my black. That'll give me a better idea of what my next step is going to be. So I'm going to let that completely dry. My piece is completely dried, so my next step is going to be to clean up the stone. I'm very happy with all the shading that I have going on. So I want to clean up my stones the best that I can. And I'm just going to get my little X-Acto knife, and I'm going to kind of clean up the edges. And I want to get, the reason I'm using the X-Acto knife is because I want to get as close to the edge as I can. So I'm just gently gliding across the stone, and I'm not pushing on it hard. And I'm just getting all the edges. I got a little paper towel, and I'm just going to, and I got it wet, and I'm just going to carefully clean my stone here. And you can see it comes right off the paint. I find it easier to scrape because then when you have a wet paper towel, you're not rubbing all the paint off of your piece before you seal it. So I can see I have a little bit here. Beautiful that stone looks with that silver right next to it. Okay. I'm going to do this one now. Beautiful. The stone looks really good. I'm going to clean up my little bail area here. Make sure I got all the paint off of that. Okay. And then lastly, I have this satin glaze, and I am going to put some of that on here to seal my paint and help protect it. Make sure when you're putting your gloss on, you get every little area. This way, you don't have any dull areas left. You get on the stone, that's okay, because that could easily be wiped right up. And make sure I take my time on this area since there's so many little swirls. I want to make sure I'm getting in all those little areas. All right, now our piece is completely done. You can see the satin gloss or satin glaze has completely dried, and you can see all the beautiful detail with the shade in. The back is just as gorgeous. I know I say this with basically every video, but I am extremely happy with the way that this turned out, and I think it's absolutely beautiful. You can see how it shines. There's just so much detail. It's such a special piece, and I think something like this can really just be a beautiful gift for somebody. So if you like this video, please like and subscribe. And I really hope that you guys enjoy creating each and every piece with me. I will see you guys next time. Bye.